Well, here we are, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Turn the Power On with your host, me, Dr. Christina. Turn the Power On with Dr. Christina was a podcast concept I had last fall that needed some time to simmer in the crock pot. And so now what I've started to do is I'm going to start doing recordings every Monday, or at least every week, put them out on every Monday on Dr. Christina Craft Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. And I'm just so excited. I have no idea where this first episode is going to go today, guys, but we are here to talk things, including turning the power on to your health, turning the power on to your finances, turning the power on to your relationships, turning the power on to your health and healing, all the things. Turning the power on to me. Why I named this little segment or podcast or whatever you want to call it, why I called it Turn the Power On is because it's kind of the mantra for the office. Craft Chiropractic started in 2018. Before that, I had practiced in Bismarck, and before that, I had practiced in the state of Nebraska after graduation. And I never really was able to come up with a slogan for my practice or a mantra, if you will. So Turn the Power On to me in chiropractic is all about getting the nervous system clear so that you can turn the power on to the health through the nervous system. So when we remove subluxations as chiropractors of the spine and neck, we literally are turning on, well, maybe more figuratively, but we're turning the power on to the innate intelligence, to the innate healing, the innate health within all of us. And we all have this innate intelligence. And through chiropractic philosophy and me teaching and guiding my patients, my family, my community for the last 12 years now, turning the power on to your health with chiropractic is literally what I get to experience each and every day inside my practice. And now that I have become a licensed Minnesota animal chiropractor, as well as an International Veterinary Chiropractic Association certified animal chiropractor, you guys, I have so much amazing things that I want to share with you in the realms of the healing interactions with humans and animals now. I'm just so excited to be willing and able to be bold enough to share over the next several months or maybe years, however long we do this, every week, share with you some of the aha moments that I have had in cases in the office, cases at the barns, or dog visits, horse visits. I actually had coffee with a friend earlier today talking about cranial sacral work. Yesterday I talked with another massage therapist friend over some lunch. We had a conversation about all the aha moments that we both have had over the last 12 months. And so this podcast or these sessions, this Turn the Power On with Dr. Christina, I'm going to really be focusing on the healer in entrepreneurship. So women and men, those of you that are listening, I might be a really great fit for you to tune into every week. If you want to learn more about what are your challenges in practice, if you're a practitioner, if you're in health and wellness and you are working on upgrading or up-leveling your business, or you're pivoting in a new way in 2022, how can I help support that? Anything that comes to and through that I feel like my heart needs to share, we're going to have conversations on Turn the Power On with Dr. Christina. So today I'm at my home today recording. Some of these will be recorded at the office. Some of these will be recorded at the barn. Some of these will be recorded, me maybe working with animals, maybe actually working on a patient with their permission, of course. So this is my home space, my home recording studio. I have a Blue Yeti microphone. By the way, I'm not sponsored yet by anybody, but these Blue Yeti microphones are fantastic. I literally am recording with my iPhone 8 right now. You don't need fancy equipment, everyone, to get started with sharing your message about what you feel is relevant, what you feel is appropriate, what you feel is on your heart to share. So if we go back to August of 2021, I had this desire to start a podcast like this, just start recording myself, just having conversations about things that came to me, but then of course adding interviews or adding guests later. So these first few will probably definitely be solo, and then we'll bring on guests as we need to as well. But when I first wanted to do this, my heart was in a different place. I really had jumped on board with Health Freedom for Humanity Minnesota chapter, and I kind of really then after that, September, October-ish, I decided to go to Animal Chiropractic College, which then really took me away from focusing on what I really wanted to talk about. And then over the last 6 months, it's been very clear for me. The waters have been parted for me to be very clear on what I would like to share more and more of in these episodes. So some of this stuff is going to be personal, business, relationship, financial, health related, and aha moments that I've seen with family, with friends, with patients, those types of things. So we're really about, turning the power on to your health. We might just do a whole episode on just that. Turn the power on to your finances, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how I personally am doing that with my businesses and how I can help other people in their businesses do the same. Then there's this turning the power on to your relationships and the huge aha moments that I've had personally with family and friends and my partner Matt over the last year, maybe 18 months. So many incredible things. There has been so much joy that has come out of the last 18 to 24 months in my life versus what so many other people I know are struggling with is fear and sadness and, just real hard times. And I'm not going to say and sit here and say that it's all sunshine and rainbows for me, but I do need my family, my friends, and my listeners to this to understand that for the most part, I can't even express to you the overall gratitude that I have for my alignment with my purpose, including chiropractic, including guiding people to their higher potential, to helping people in the recovery community, which is a whole nother turn the power on to your recovery. We can do a whole nother episode about that as well. Being an empath, I will talk about that too. Turning the power on to empaths. Us empaths, we feel everything. We feel the hurts of others. We feel the hurts of animals. We feel the hurts of our children and our nieces and our nephews and our family members. We feel everything. And it's not a bad thing. It's just it's a superpower. It's a super gift that I have been given. And I will tell you honestly that I have been able to unleash more of since I've started working with equine and canine patients. And I knew this was going to happen, and I am so grateful that it happened at school. I found out that at Animal Chiropractic School, I have a little deeper gift in terms of an intuition with animals, and so I will talk more about what I've been able to discover about myself in these episodes as well. I do have a quote that I want to share with you, kind of switching gears here. So I used to train with the Schofield training, Freddie Schofield, Susan Schofield, their son FJ. They have a chiropractic training group. I did that a long time ago. I'm no longer training with them, you guys, but I still order some products from them sometimes. And so I got an order of some retracing brochures recently for the office from Schofield Training. And in the box, I love this kind of stuff, they sent us a little quote. And I know this quote, and Dr. Fred has used it before, and it's actually Susan's quote, but I think it's really relevant to talk about today in this first episode. First you crawl, then you walk, then you run. And I like to talk about this quote because Susan Schofield, it's her quote, and I remember it being very clear. So what this quote means to me, first you crawl, then you walk, then you run, I'm just going to take it right back to anywhere in life. So recently, I have graduated from Animal Chiropractic College. I am literally launching a new portion of Craft Chiropractic, which includes animal chiropractic services for primarily dogs and horses. Talk about first you crawl. Let me tell you, when I first went to Animal Chiropractic College, you guys, I was terrified to pick up horses' legs and feet. I do not own horses, always have been around them throughout my life, have mucked stalls, have rode horses and stuff like that, but they have always been other people's horses. So when I had to step into my full potential and purpose of breaking through the fear of picking up horse feet, which by the way, the work that I do is it could be very dangerous, but if you check with your own energy before you enter working with an animal, you're going to be fine. And then there's some days animals just they're just not able to be worked with. Okay. So with that being said, First You Crawl, I got to witness this just so humbly at school in Wellsville, Kansas. I went to Options for Animals College of Chiropractic, and I got to witness this so humbly. First You Crawled. So the very first trip down to animal chiropractic school, I remember getting up on the chiropractic bales to do some palpation on a sacrum of a horse. And I just had an emotional release. I just started to cry. And my instructor was like, "Are you okay?" You know, and I said, "I'm just so emotionally sensitive to an animal that is hurting or has been hurt or has been traumatized." So what that means, guys, is as I'm diving in and working with these animals, I've been able to release the ability to the empath in me. I'm really sensitive to what's going on in their nervous system. So I am with humans and babies, adults, children, youth, teen athletes, those things, okay? You can kind of really tune into quickly, or at least I can. I'm going to explain a little bit more of that in separate episodes, but it's basically a gift that I have been able to kind of like up level. And so I would love to share more of that, especially when I do episodes at the rescue or the horse barns and stuff like that. Of course, with the permission of the patients as well, if we start doing more of these recordings and having you kind of watch in live time what we see in changes of the structure of the body language of a person, their eyes light up. The biggest thing about getting a really great adjustment, let's just say on a baby, their eyes light up. They even have like a whole different demeanor. Or when I'm now working with a dog or a horse, they literally are like a new animal right in front of you. I just can't wait to tell you more about turning the power on to the critters, okay? That's going to be super important for me to talk to you about, because it's absolutely, I know without a doubt that I have stepped fully into my purpose being an animal chiropractor as well as a human chiropractor. It's been my dream since I've been a teenager. So it's just, I have to share the wins with you, and I encourage you to know that first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. And I bet you I will be crying my eyes out on some of these episodes, because it's real, it's raw. I've experienced my life. My life has been my medicine. That's a Dr. Cassie B. Huckabee thing. I have learned from her. I have learned from so many people over the last 18 months, 12 months specifically, that my life, I finally feel what I've been wanting to feel and have manifest. It's right in my hands, and I want people to know that you have to do the work. First you crawl, then you walk, then you run. I'm going to come back to it. So I had to go lift up legs on horses over this last 6 months. This is new for me. I again don't own horses. I hope to soon. Maybe this year have a lease horse or something like that. And I am just so damn proud of myself for busting through that fear. And there's a bunch more synchronicities that came, you guys, in regards to busting through fear. Like, I now have the ability to help a 1,000-pound animal. And this is me being like really confident and calm and saying that if you can handle a 1,000-pound animal and their energy and their spirit and their stuff, and you can calm them down and help them, boy, bring me on any person. So what's happened is that I personally feel that I have unleashed a whole bunch of aha moments, but I have literally unleashed the gift of chiropractic in my hands for humans, because I have now been able to express it also with the animals. So I know that there's going to be some Health Freedom for Humanity Reclaim Use coming up with me talking a little bit about this as well. And my epiphanies and my aha moments. And I know that when I start having some guests with this, Turn the Power On with me, we're just going to just share so much aha moments. It's going to be juicy, fun, raw, real things. And so for those of you that are in the healing industry or want to become a healer or are a healer in disguise or are a healer in, maybe crockpot time, like simmering right now, it's your time. Okay, that's also why I am launching these conversations. It is your time to shine, whether you're ready or not. Here you come. Okay, so first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. Just recently, I've had so many conversations with colleagues and patients, family, friends about what I'm up to. With me jumping into the animal chiropractic, I do feel that my practice is going to be more 50-50, 50% people, 50% animals, probably by midsummer. Everyone that's listening, that's kind of an announcement, but it's also kind of a prediction based on the amounts of calls I've been getting just for animal chiropractic over the last 7 days. And let's just stop on that for a minute. First you crawl, then you walk, then you run. Well, what's going to happen is when you get into your purpose with your profession, or if it's, taking care of children, or if you're teaching, or if you take a new seminar and then all of a sudden you find out that that's what you want to do, you watch out, because the people will show up, the teachers will show up, the friends will show up. All of a sudden you have everything just coming in. And this has happened to me before in my life, but never has it happened like it has happened over the last 10 days or so. Referrals and stuff are going to happen when you get into if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this and you finally figure it out, the thing that you need to do, or that thing you need to sell, or that service you need to provide, or that excavator service that you need to be doing, or whatever it is. I'm just giving out some examples, or that dog walking business, whatever it is. If that's the thing, the God of your understanding knows that and is going to give you the opportunity to up level. Like, here it is, here's some more, And then you might still get hit with some lessons along the way, because I've had so many lessons as well as so many joys over the last 6 months of Animal Chiropractic College. But what I'm really trying to say is get with it. Show up. What do you have to lose by showing up fully as yourself? What do you have to lose? I actually also just recently had another conversation with a friend about how I actually suffer from stage fright. I have anxiety and performance anxiety. Not as much as I used to, because again, once you find your work with your self-love and you start to do the work, and the work is hard. Nobody is seeing the work behind the scenes. Everybody just sees the business or the car or the house or the things and the this and the that. And they think that you just get everything, you're just so lucky. Ugh, I wish I could say that that's true, but the hardships and the crockpot moments I talk about where you have to simmer a little bit and you have to sit with I'm just going to say you have to sit with your shit. You have to sit with your shit, you guys. Those that are listening. And if you're not quite ready to get out of that, if you like sitting in hot shit, okay, there's going to come a time where your creator, Mother Earth, the universe, the God of your understanding is going to say, okay, it's time. And you may not be ready. So there is this quote, I know another quote besides first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. There is another quote out there, I know, I think it's by maybe Yaje Yang or something like that. It talks about how if you are constantly thinking about this thing, waking up at night, dreaming about it, things are showing up for it, but you don't feel ready for it, and you sure don't feel worthy for it. Congratulations, you guys, you have found your purpose. And some people's purpose is volunteering and doing mission work. Some people's purpose is being a nurse. Some people's purpose is raising families. Some people's purpose is rescuing dogs. That one particularly is part of my purpose. So when you get on point and get on and you follow through, like, things just show up for you. I have never experienced like I have experienced it over the last maybe 6 months or so. And we'll break that down more and more as I go through some more of these episodes. But so the fear of picking up horse feet. I'm going to continue to work on that and get better at that. And I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to have no fear, because the animal will feel your fear if you go to them in service, and you're going to, they're going to pick up on that. And you might, unfortunately, could get kicked and things like that. So the job can be dangerous, but you have to be calm, and you have to be confident, and you have to come with intention. And intention is a whole nother, I'm going to write that down actually. Intention is a whole nother episode. And how I can maybe guide some of you that are listening to this. What is intention? Okay, to you. What does that actually mean? Is it a physical ritual? Is it a prayer? Is it a, taking a moment and having that moment of intention before you actually, like for me, I have a moment of intention before I actually lay my hands on a patient and do my work. Same thing with the animals. Same thing. Maybe even when I'm going on a road trip, there's just this intention. Okay. Or before I come on and do a podcast, before I speak in public, before I do a powerlifting move or whatever I'm doing, you have an intention. You have an intention. You have an intention before you do something. Okay. We'll talk about that more too. Again, this first episode is about giving you an idea of where I'm at, where we're going. There's been this big word over the last 2 years about pivot. I'm literally in it right now. I now know what that really is like to have to launch new services in my business, to be a solo practitioner, hoping to have to pivot, including hiring staff down the road, hopefully hiring somebody that has some animal handling skills to come with me to the barns and to be a helper at the office. So everything that I thought my practice was going to be even a year ago now, guys, as a chiropractor here in Fargo-Moorhead, it's all just even different. And even this podcast, when I first started this podcast, wanted to start this podcast, I definitely had a different mindset, and I probably would have launched it with not such, not really, I wasn't ready to launch at that time. So here we are. And that's the beautiful part. Okay. When I say sitting in your shit, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Sometimes healers, creatives, entrepreneurs, healers, I said that already, we have to kind of go hermit for a little bit and deal with some things, do our stuff, take care of ourselves, and then we can kind of come out and when we blossom. And that's this whole piece of first you crawl, then you walk, then you run. So my crawling was, this recent one was being able to have that confidence to ask that animal to give me their leg and to do the things that I need to do with them to help correct misalignments of the extremities. And so a lot of you may know that I am a sports chiropractor, holistic sports chiropractor, where we work with the emotions as well. And we use emotional aromatherapy in the office. And we do some other techniques to help improve the neuro-emotional release. So a lot of the times in my practice, I will see, not you, but I will witness just such incredible, hey doc, I ran my fastest race, or hey doc, I pulled my biggest deadlift recently. And it's not me helping them do that. That's their innate intelligence. I'm just helping to take away the interference, reducing that subluxation of their mind and body, that disconnection between the mind and body. And the mind is so powerful. I mean, the stories that we can make up in our mind about other people and ourselves, the stories we've carried with us throughout our whole lives, we can really, really either make it a great story or we can make it a not so great story. So your attitude and your thoughts and your attitude about yourself and your attitude about your circumstances absolutely plays a role in how you show up to be in your purpose in this world, or things that you enjoy doing, even like hunting or fishing. You have to have, I truly feel that you have to have an intention. You have to continue to work on yourself in and out, and your health is the most important thing. So that's always going to be the primary. Natural health really is going to be the primary talk here when we talk about turning the power on to your health. And so I would definitely say that I am an expert in the nervous system. So we're going to focus on nervous system related things. We're going to focus on, turning the power on to entrepreneurs that need some guidance in 2022. I think it's the best time for families to consider entrepreneurship. If you have ever considered of having a dream of owning a business, or starting something, or creating something, to patent an idea or write a book or those types of things, I would love to be able to talk more about those topics. And for those of you that are listening that you feel like we might have a great juicy conversation around turning the power on to health, family, finances, business, this would be great. I would definitely have recorded conversations at Craft Chiropractic, or we could do them over Zoom as well. Okay. So yesterday I posted on Instagram another post too. I was sitting here yesterday on a Sunday. I had begun to do some recordings, but it just didn't feel quite right. So today we're doing a new recording. But yesterday I sat here and I watched an online worship service, and I had some coffee, and I was doing some social media stuff here at my laptop here. And by the way, we're remodeling our home. This is just a little tapestry to hide everything where my office is here. We are working on flipping our home. So after work, we're usually working on, or Matt is definitely working on our home. So, but we basically have time for things that we make time for. And I need to talk about that on another episode too. So let me talk about that work-life balance piece in another episode. And I probably lost my train of thought here because, when I think about why so many people don't start something, it's because they don't feel like they're ready. Well, I wasn't ready to pick up horse feet, and I knew that I was going to do this, and I knew that I was going to be an animal chiropractor. So what I'm saying is I'm proof in the pudding that you continue to practice. You continue to hone your skills in whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? It takes time and effort. It takes every day hitting the feet on the floor. First of all, the first thing you need to probably consider is thanking and being grateful. Thanking God and being grateful that you are given the opportunity to show up for your community, your family, yourself, your friends, all right? All the things. But if you are listening to this and you have a service-based massage, chiro, healthcare, Reiki, business, massage therapy, whatever, healers out there, light workers out there, like myself, we have a different... We have to take care of ourselves first. And that's the other piece about this. First you crawl, then you walk, then you run. Because when I first left Bismarck, I was crawling, did not practice for 3 years. Then I walked back into practice in 2018. And now 2022, I feel like things are going from like maybe a walk to a trot to a run. It's so incredible how I can see that this quote has really made manifest. And then again, launching new services, you're going to start all over again, crawling, walking, running. You start to put together some protocols and some procedures in your practice or in your office. And you have, you focus on your niche and you stay in your lane and you help the people that you're meant to serve. And that's a whole nother episode because I have some great information around niche and niching, niching, whatever you want to call it, in the holistic health field. I think it's really important to stay in your lane. We're not meant to serve everyone. As healers and entrepreneurs in the healing industry, we need to focus our time with a certain individual base of people that we really can speak to and can attract and do the best work with and love to work with and so forth. So I will talk more about that as well in further episodes, which includes the animal side as well as the human side. with chiropractic anyways. So those of you that are chiropractors, I think that would be great to tune into. I have so much insight and wisdom and knowledge around that. Going back to my post from yesterday, 3 things that I want to leave you with today. Today's entrepreneur in the health and healing, holistic health avenue, I believe needs 3 things to survive. And they need 3 things to include. This is all for myself as well. I've learned all of this by doing it for myself. 3 things to do the work and to be successful. Number 1 is God of your understanding, having a faith in something higher than yourself, having a faith in your higher power, having a faith in God of your understanding, okay? That is really important for me. That's how I can get things accomplished, by having him on my side versus, fighting with that power, okay? So prayer work, ritual work, things like that. So God of your understanding, a weekly service to go to, daily practice of prayer, meditation, those types of things are really, really important for me. And I need to start these episodes by letting you guys know that I just make that a part of my life. Okay? God, faith. Number 2 for healing entrepreneurs, you got to work on yourself, love, the love of self. It is not a sin to love the self, okay? It is important. We are given by the moment we are conceived and birthed into this world that we are loved unconditionally by our parents and our grandparents, right? So we have to work our entire lives to love ourselves. And so those of you that are listening that struggle with loving yourself, that's where you find the work. You go find the teacher, the guide, the facilitator, the counselor, right? And you do the work. Okay? So focusing on self-love will also manifest things like your dream job or your own business or a new service that lights you up, like chiropractic does for me, okay? That's just an example. But number 1, God and faith. Number 2, self-love. The third thing that I believe all entrepreneurs in the health and healing, holistic health avenue need is to take action. And let's talk about this just for a small minute before we end the episode today. Taking action, again, first you crawl, then you walk, then you run, by Susan Schofield. Taking action is the same thing. First let's just say you want to open up a bakery, and that's just what that's what you want to do. You've maybe asked your higher self for the things regarding it. You've done some prayer around it. That's what you've got to do. You got to start a bakery. Okay, what's the action that you need to start with? That's where you start getting your list out and go, okay, what's the first step? Okay, well, who do I need in my circle to start this bakery? Who do I need as a counselor or a mentor, or who can I reach out to? So I think it's first and foremost taking action by reaching out to people who could help you right away. So maybe it's your banker, maybe it's a counselor, maybe it's a small business development person or something like that. Okay, so taking action, reach out to your community, ask for support. Okay, people need people right now. Entrepreneurs need other entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs to bounce ideas off, because I'm just going to say it, guys, we run on a different motor. If you know any other entrepreneurs in your family or household or in your circle, entrepreneurs, I'm one, we run on our own energy. Okay, we're high energy individuals, but we also are susceptible to burnout. So we must maintain boundaries. Yeses are yeses, nos are nos. We'll talk more about boundaries. We'll talk more about niching in boundaries, especially for the healer in more episodes. But taking action, you guys, is just that. Who do I need? What do I need? Where can I find it? How do I do it? And then get yourself a great mentor who is already doing it. So if you want to open up a bakery, go shadow another baker that's already doing what you're doing. They are happy, I bet you, to have you, okay? Happy to have you. And this is the one last thing about taking action. Whether you're a chiropractor, a dentist, a florist, and have your own business or whatever, or even if you don't have your own business and you want to have your own business, taking action requires the other two things, because you need to have self-love, confidence in yourself, self-worth, and just this, I can't always explain this because for me, it's not always easy, but it's become more and more easy as I've gotten older and as I've done some work to ask for help. That is huge. And I had a conversation with a friend earlier today. I am never too busy for a phone call or coffee or lunch. So don't ever feel like, don't create a story that you feel like I'm too busy because I have a business. In fact, I have such a balanced work-life balance that I make time for lunches and coffees and friends and things like that. Okay, so self-love first, taking care of the self is important. Having a faith in a God of your understanding is really important. The God of my understanding is different than the God of Matt's understanding. He has a different spiritual practice in life than mine, but we share the values, and that's really important. We share the values together of what that all looks like as far as having faith in a higher power. Self-love. Okay, I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm finally knowing what that really feels like, you guys. And so we're going to talk more about that in more episodes. That will be some good, juicy stuff. Action. Taking action like me, just taking action on recording this today. And I am not perfect. I am far from perfect, but I do have absolute belief that you don't have to be perfect to do the things that you want to do. You start by crawling, then walking, and then running. So with that being said, I thank you so much for every one of you for listening today to our first episode of Turn the Power On with Dr. Christina. I will be posting these on Instagram, Facebook, and my YouTube channel, Dr. Christina Craft. So if you have any comments on anything that I talked about today, please leave them in the comment section below. And I would love for you to subscribe, especially to our YouTube channel as we continue to create more content. This is a great place for people to find it, which is on YouTube, Dr. Christina Craft on YouTube. Everybody have a great day. And remember the two sets of three things here. First you crawl, then you walk, then you run. Okay? And if you have a couple of bumps in the road along the way, that's okay. Then you go back, crawl, then you walk, then you run. Then the other three things that I'm going to say in regards to first crawl, walk, run, you need to have a faith, some hope and some faith, and an understanding of a God of your understanding, or some type of spiritual connection to an energy that's bigger than you. Okay. And we will talk more about that because that's huge for me. Self-love is number 2. Working on it constantly, taking care of you, whatever it is that you need to do for yourself. But mine includes a lot of salt baths and puppy time. I'm not going to lie, it's true. And then the third thing on my list is you must take appropriate next best step action. And I would say start with your circle. Ask for help first. Okay? Thank you so much for turning the power on with me, Dr. Christina, and I will see you all soon. Have a great day.